Today we find out if the newest card to enter Marvel Snap will be our enemy or our ally. Find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we got the Spider season that just came out, and the first card in the Spider season is going to be Silver Sable. Silver Sable is a colorful, sometimes enemy, sometimes ally of Spider-Man. She watched as her mother died in her arms as a small child, so she trained her entire life to become a master of a wide variety of weapons and all forms of hand-to-hand combat, in preparation for the day when she would inherit the leadership of the Wild Pack. The Wild Pack are a group of soldiers started by her father in conjunction with his government, whose job was to hunt down war criminals. Silver Sable had a small issue, though, as over the years she had to turn the focus of the Wild Pack more and more towards mercenary endeavors, as the group is one of the only sources of foreign revenue for its tiny homeland. So the organization can now be hired out to apprehend wanted criminals and recover stolen property, or it can be used to help pull off a robbery for an evil organization. Anyone can make a bounty for them, but she will charge less if the cause is good. Silver Sable is an extraordinarily demanding and will react very poorly if her or her operatives do not meet her highest standards of performance. She is ruthless whenever it comes necessary to protect her country. She will put her patriotism above all of her other principles. At first glance, she seems entirely motivated by making as much dough as possible. But that money goes to make sure that her country has full coffers, and this allows many to live outside of poverty or squalor. Silver Sable is an extremely businesslike, and is famous for being ice cold, in charge, and not caring about anything but her margins. She runs her operations with a strong emphasis on minimizing her costs and maximizing her profits. She has very little empathy for her own troops and normally refuses to do anything unless properly compensated. She may seem to be positively heartless, however she has a well-hidden soft spot for when it comes to protecting children. Silver Sable possesses no superhuman powers, but she makes up for them with strong leadership and strategic capabilities. She also has the latest technology and equipment at her disposal. This allows her to wear a synthetic fabric lined with Kevlar as a bodysuit. She is also an expert swordsman with her katana and a great marksman with her Dillinger. However, she does not need weapons, as she is also skilled in hand-to-hand combat and various other forms of martial arts. Silver Sable is a sometimes ally, sometimes enemy, extremely businesslike woman who will be hired as a service to damage anyone or anything for as long as she can get compensated from the deal. This is represented in Marvel Snap as when you engage her in her services, she will make sure your next enemy is less powerful, but take that power as her compensation. So in Marvel Snap, what she does is on reveal, she is a one power, one cost. With on reveal, when you reveal her, she'll steal 2 power from the top card of your opponent's deck, which means she gets 2 power and the top card loses 2 power. As far as I am concerned, she is a 4-star card. Let me go over some of the things on why I believe she is a 4-star card here. So first of all, we gotta look at how she looks as just a power spike here. So you may look at her as a power spike and just go, oh, she's a rocket raccoon. But that's kind of limiting how much power she can gain off of you. Saying that she's just a 1-1 is a big misnomer for how she's played. On the worst of days, even if you draw her all the way on turn 6, she's a 1-0. Sorry, a 1-3, I should say. So she basically equals out to 0, even if you put her on the last final turn. But even saying that is kind of a misnomer, because the fact is that she steals 2 power. She basically equals out to a 1-5 with no downside. It works the same way as Cassandra Nova works, where it actually steals the power, so it takes the power. So if your opponent can't play the card, or even does play the card, it's going to have -2 power. Now, there are some people who that's really going to be punishing for. Like, if you catch us on an Iron Man, giving -2 power to Iron Man is huge. There's other people who it's going to do nothing for. Like, no. If negative power on null means nothing to it, because it's how its ongoing effect works. One of the greatest cards for it is basically a beast or a bounce-like card. Because of the fact that you can play it so early, you can play it on 1 and either play Beast on 3 or play Falcon on 2, and then just play it back down and it'll re-trigger. Another good card for it is 1 because of the fact that it's on reveal, which means you also do have to be kind of cautious about your Cosmos out there, but the fact of it happening so soon is what makes it kind of interesting. For example, Killmonger really isn't going to touch her, and even if it does, it's already done its job. If you play this early enough, it's done its job. You've already gotten the 3 off of it and possibly the 5 off of it, unless something really weird happens. So even though Killmonger can usually take out 1s, it's not that big of a deal because of the fact that you've done what you needed to do. This is also kind of a good card for if you're trying to play a Werewolf by Night deck or kind of one of these on-reveal decks, because of the fact that it's another 1-drop that adds an activated ability. And it's a really good 1-drop with a good 1 ability. Now, part of the problem why it's not so good is because, first of all, the fact that on turn 6 it is a 1-3, which isn't the greatest thing in the world. It's not the end of the world, but it's not what you're hoping to do on turn 6. The other problem is it kind of has the Iceman problem. A lot of times when you play Iceman, you don't realize how good that Iceman is, because if your opponent can't play that card because of Iceman, you now sit there and go, oh, my Silver Sable didn't do anything. Where in reality, it actually won you the game or helped you out a ton in the game because your opponent couldn't play it. The other problem that you kind of have is if your opponent doesn't care about the fact that it's got -2, like for example, they get Arnim Zola, you basically wasted a charge on it for all intents and purposes, but that's the least of its problems and the most of its problems at the same time. The other thing is, now that kind of Marvel Boy and Kyra and 1-drops have become really relevant in the game, and flooding out your deck has become really relevant in the game. Filling out your deck, flooding out your deck. This is a really good 1-drop. If you're trying to play the Squirrel Girl combo and you need another 1-drop, this is an awesome 1-drop for this. If you're playing the Wicca combo where you're trying to do 1, 2, 3, this is an awesome 1-drop for this, because it's a 1-3 on average, and a 1-5 if your opponent has to play the card that they got for whatever reason. Other than the card of Silver Sable this week, we have U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent has kind of had a back and forth, up and down. It's still a really good card as a 2-drop. You can play this on 2 and just win a location because people are afraid to play in it. The other card that we have is Mockingbird. Mockingbird is probably the card for any kind of zoo deck, for any kind of field deck, for any kind of... Mockingbird has been nerfed. And even once she's been nerfed, she's still seeing play. She's still seeing use. So there is one of the best cards that you can have. This is almost never a 6-drop. If you're playing Squirrel Girl and you want to have Silver Sable in this, you're going to put Mockingbird in that same deck. So, all in all, it's a great week to roll on caches. There's not a single bad result in this. Even if you have Mockingbird, U.S. Agent's worth it. Even if you have U.S. Agent, Mockingbird's worth it. There's no bad rolling this week. Alright, let's see what we get off the box. Kind of bad for me because I have both already, but let's see what we get in the box. Box says Mockingbird. Alright. Because of the changes to Atuma, I'm going to do Atuma this Friday. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.